All right, for this next show, and I am going to show you guys right now, it is Supergirl. Now, I'm going to preface this with this week's episode was not meant to be this week's episode. This episode was meant to air next week ahead of Thanksgiving. However, episode 4 of Supergirl had to be postponed because of the recent events in Beirut, Paris, and, well, even though today is after the fact that the episode aired, but I'm going to put in Nigeria because of today's highly unfortunate events. Because of those events and everything that's been happening, the people at CBS decided to move the episode of Supergirl from this week to another later time. However, this week's episode did not have anything to do with any sort of those heinous, those terrible, terrible acts. This week's episode, and it also didn't really affect the overall story arc, or else they would have just canceled the show altogether and started back up next week. Or postpone indefinitely and just start it back up whenever they were right. This has happened before in TV history where a couple of shows have hit close to home as far as their subject matter compared to what has just recently happened. One example is events that happened over the summer and the TV show Mr. Robot. Again, everything was done tastefully so that it was not done in poor taste. But hey, this happens. That being said, let us go on with Supergirl. So this week, Supergirl had a very, very touchy-feely episode. Because Kara and Alex's mother, well, Kara's foster mother, Alex's real mother, same woman, but it's just a different way of saying mother, comes to visit for Thanksgiving. And I guess there's some tension between their mother and Alex, in which Alex always feels belittled by their mother, and Kara is always looked like a Supergirl, I guess, to her mother. It was an interesting episode to see in that dynamic. However, this week's villain, in which Supergirl had to subdue, her name was Livewire. Her real name is Leslie Willis, who is a radio DJ who works for Kat in the same corporation that pretty much every major character works for, except for Alex and Hank Henshaw. And Leslie Willis is a radio DJ who, at the beginning of the episode, was bad-mouthing Supergirl. So you're getting that context of I hate Supergirl. This is why. Here we go. Kat, then disgusted by what Leslie had said about Supergirl, demotes Leslie to traffic chopper. Your eye in the sky, if you would. And, of course, the first time she goes in a helicopter in good old Supergirl fashion, there's a huge lightning storm, but because Leslie is a great reporter, she wants to get the most out of her first experience, and she wants to get that grueling news so she could go back to being a radio DJ. Chopper gets struck by lightning, Supergirl to the rescue, saves the pilot, and in her attempt to save Leslie, a bolt of lightning strikes Supergirl, goes through Supergirl, hits Leslie. Now, Leslie does not die. Leslie, in other words, her power is on a molecular level, I believe, the lightning kind of combines with Leslie. So Leslie does not die. Leslie becomes Livewire, who is basically the female version in the DC comic universe of Electro. can harness the power of electricity, can travel through electric power lines and such, and also has kind of like a magnetic ability. So while all this is going on, Kat is no longer safe because Leslie / Livewire's main target is Kat, because that's the last person who did Leslie wrong. In this whole time, Kat is being protected by Supergirl. And Kat decides to open up to Supergirl, letting her know why she doesn't really talk to her mother, how she got to where she is, and, you know, really, really kind of shows her true feelings. Shows her true feelings to her. And this kind of changes her personality a little bit to being that cold, hard, Jameson, head of the News Corporation type figure, and kind of makes her, you know, I don't want to sound, you know, I don't want to sound terrible, but makes her more human and just gives her that other emotion that we've all been waiting for. Just makes her more, not too touchy-feely, but makes her feel more at home. In this case, makes Kara feel, makes Kara feel more comfortable at work. So the reason why Alex and Kara's mother comes to visit for Thanksgiving is because she has to tell them that their father has died. And the last time she heard from him, she was working with Henshaw, or that he died years ago, but it was because he was working with the same corporation that both Kara and Alex are working for, the DEO, under the supervision of Mr. Hank Henshaw. So now the girls are suspicious of Henshaw, and we, the viewers, have always been suspicious because of the red eyes. The eyes, they never lie. So that was kind of where Supergirl was leaving off. The battle was great. It seems as if DC is kind of again taking it so that it's not too dark, like The Flash, like Arrow, probably like how Legends of Tomorrow will be. They want Supergirl to be as light and fluffy as possible, but also hitting the same emotional points that the other 2 to 3 shows already portray. This was definitely a touchy-feely episode. Would have been great for Thanksgiving. However, due to extenuating circumstances, things had to get switched around, which, it happens. But it was able to happen with enough gust and enough time for people to really get that feeling of family and feeling of being with loved ones, or being appreciated in this upcoming holiday season. So it was a nice feel-good episode. It was nice and light, feel-good episode. Leslie was pretty cool as Livewire. I would have liked a bigger story arc with her. Maybe she got away, but they caught her, so it kind of just, I don't know. For me, that kind of put a damper on some of the episodes. So, yeah. So that was Supergirl for this week. It was a nice show as always. Nice show as always. There's not really that. There's really not that much depth to the show just yet. Maybe I'm missing something, but I mean, it is a very strong female-led cast. So I'm very, very excited to see again where this goes. But let's talk about our why don't we get into that last show, The Flash. Maybe I should roll a banner. The Flash. This week, the title of the Flash episode was called Guerrilla Warfare. Now, it wasn't spelt how usually guerrilla is spelt when put with warfare. It was spelt how the primate is spelt. Gorilla, guerrilla. Which only could mean one thing in the DC comic universe. Grod is back. Grod is a giant gorilla who has a mind control ability and is terrorizing Central City. I mean, it's kind of like a baby King Kong type thing going on there. Grod, for those of you who don't know, is a giant gorilla who, prior to the explosion at Star Labs, was how do I put this? Was put in a trial, in a military type trial, in which was being led by Dr. Harrison Wells, and we all know how great that guy is. Not. I don't know if he was a man or if he was a gorilla. I don't really know the past tense, but Grod was a test subject in these military experiments in which it was led to make a kind of a better truth serum, but also something that can help with mind control, so that, God forbid, we need to interrogate God forbid we are to interrogate our prisoners, but also maybe mind control them, so that if we were to use them as decoys to get into somewhere, we can just say, hey, go into that bar, go into that place, go into that place. Sick and demented, especially if you look at it in today's world, especially with all the stuff that Call of Duty was telling me. It didn't do too well. And then, of course, when the accelerator exploded at Star Labs, Grod became a telepathic, mind-controlling ape. Awesome. Wonderful job. Great. So basically just think about King Kong, normal gorilla size, walking around telling people how to do their jobs. In this episode, Grod is collecting the same kind of chemicals that was used on him before the explosion, and to create more Grods like him. So he doesn't feel lonely, because he's the only one. I mean, all we really want in life is friends and people to like us. So if you can't join them, make them, right? That seems like a good thing to do. So he brainwashes Caitlin to help him out. Cisco, on the other hand, goes on his first date with the barista girl. And it's love at first sight, I think. They're about to go see The Princess Bride, which, according to him, is one of the best date movies ever. I think I've only watched it once, and I don't even think it was on a date. I think it was a group thing. So for those of you listening out there, please let me know in the comments on Twitter or anything if Princess Bride is really a great date movie. It would be something great to pass along to the wonderful, wonderful wife-to-be. While all this is going on, the Harrison Wells from Earth 2 comes out with his plan that he wants to leave Earth 1, because if Barry, who is slowly gaining his ability to walk, after last week's encounter with Zoom, Harrison's just like, you know what? If the Flash can't do it, I'm out. I'm going back to Earth 2. I'll figure out something there. I'll get my daughter back. Don't worry about me. I don't care about you guys. I'm out. And as he's sitting at a bar, before Caitlin becomes all brainwashed, she kind of helps him get into this whole mindset that if they close all of the portals but one and they direct Zoom to get to just one of them, they can capture him. Not a bad idea. Should have done it in the first place. Instead of trying to open a portal all the time, why don't you close the damn things first and then you only have one to worry about instead of 52 of them? So now you got 52 open portals, one that's permanently open because, again, nobody thinks to close these things when they leave, and now they decide we'll close all of them except for one. I guess the writers were listening. But anyway, enough said about portals and who's stupid and all that stuff. Cisco goes on his date, but of course we know when he touches someone, his power forces him to see the future or be the fly on the wall. His powers of fly on the wall power notices a figure with wings, thus teasing Legends of Tomorrow. So now that connection between Arrow, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow, it was coming together a couple weeks ago with Mr. Cold. Now, with Ray Palmer and The Atom coming together, being saved from Damien Dark in last week's episode of that show. Now, on this week, on The Flash, Cisco sees into the future and sees a winged creature. Upon kissing her later at the end of the episode, he notices that the winged creature is, in fact, the woman he's kissing. It's Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl. Spoiler. It's Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl and Hawkman, or Hawkboy, are meant to be part of Legends of Tomorrow. They're also going to be in a crossover episode with Arrow and The Flash. So Cisco went on a date with that woman. Meanwhile, back at Star Labs, the group realizes that, Grod is trying to make other Grods, because he's lonely. The guy is just lonely. And all the meantime, Barry Allen is trying to recover from his clash with Zoom a couple weeks ago, and it's slow. It's slow. His physical body is healing quite fast and quite well. However, his mental state, he was basically, his back was broken and he was being flailed around like a doll in front of all of Central City. The police department, the press, even just regular common people. Zoom wanted everybody to know that he is better than the Flash. And that broke down, and I think that was meant to do exactly what it did. Break down the Flash, break down his spirit, but also break him down physically. But the physical part was only just a little bit, but the spiritual part could take a while. Iris calls in Iris was helpful enough to go get Barry's biological father, who's out of jail and cleared of all charges of killing his wife. and brings him in for that moral support that Barry would need in order to come up and become the Flash yet again. And in doing so, bringing the Flash back, they're able to send Grod back to Earth 2, or I should say send Grod to Earth 2, because there already was a Grod there, according to the new Harrison Wells. But they sent this Grod over to Earth 2 to a preserve with other apes just like him. So I thought that was great. What are we going to do with him? Are you going to put him in prison? No, he's going to go back to the land. So now Grod is chilling in King Kong land, or for all you gamers out there, because I am on Twitch right now, Donkey Kong land. So Grod's, I guess, home, or Grod's the future King Kong? I don't really know. But anyway, we're starting to see set up for the crossover, yet set up for the Legends of Tomorrow. Things are happening on The Flash. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Barry being spiritually broken is it's oh wow. It's never fun. Thanks, computer, for just restarting. It's never fun. However, it's got to be done. So that was The Flash for tonight. But anyway, thanks so much for everybody for coming in and tuning in. Call of the Duty Broski, thanks so much for the follow. Thanks for the in-depth question. Great TV shows at the beginning of the week. I hope we don't have a slump like we did last week. I hope we don't have a slump like the end of last week. I mean, I need meat, guys. I need stuff to talk about. I hate ending early like I did on Sunday, but oh my God. It was just horrible. It was horrible. The shows were just like How to Get Away with Murder. Kill Oliver, man. Make it interesting. But you're killing me. But what's going on? What is this? What? Oh, server share. No, I don't want to share this one. There we go. Start the darn thing. Oh, why am I doing this? Anyway. Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you so much. Again, we are getting closer and closer to Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, coming out December 18th, 2015. The Wednesday before, I will be doing a special Star Wars episode, so we won't be talking about TV shows. Thankfully, because they're mostly in winter break. But we will be talking all about Star Wars. And I don't know if you're hyped, but I'm super hyped. And it's going to be fantastic. I am playing Star Wars Battlefront like a fiend, mostly off stream. But if you guys want it on stream, by all means, let me know on Twitter. Let me know on Facebook. I got my social stuff right there. Just type in !social or !YouTube or whatever. My VODs are on YouTube. My podcasts are on iTunes. Just type in The New Nerd in Town. You'll find it. You'll see my pretty little Bitmoji face. I want to say thank you so much to everybody out there. Thank you so much. Keep watching TV shows. Keep the stream alive. Keep it all going so fantastically well. I want to just tell everybody that I love them. I especially love you. You know who you are. And I want to thank everybody for a great and wonderful evening of all sorts of fun. Keep watching those TV shows. Keep doing you. Go watch the new Star Wars TV spot that came out while the stream was going. Go watch Arrow. Go watch American Horror Story. I want to say a quick rip to The Bastard Executioner. I'll probably binge watch that and we'll talk about it. I'm thinking that's going to have to happen because I meant to watch it. I am a Kurt Sutter fan from Sons of Anarchy. I wanted to watch it. I just fell behind. I'm so sorry, man. So sorry you had to cancel it. Please don't hate us. Please. Please, please, please. But have a great evening, everyone. This is the New Nerd in Town signing off.